Today we're going to be talking about the ZX81, what an absolute legendary device this is. Just briefly, yes, that is the Sinclair PC2000, which we'll talk about in another video, and I will leave a link to that later in the video where I do mention it. But today is about this genius of a device. This is the oldest computer I now have, and I've finally acquired this from my granddad. I just want to tell you a little bit about this. Now, as far as I'm aware, this has the ZX80 processor running at 3.25 megahertz, say that 10 times fast, and it is obviously extremely old, making it, what, 40 years old or whatever it is. My maths is rubbish. But I wanted to tell you, we could tell you loads about this, and I'll tell you a little bit about this, but I want to tell you about the story behind this particular one. So you do have the connection on the back where you can actually connect more memory to it, and to load, or more specifically to save programs that you've created, games or software. You would generally use a tape player where you connect to it, and you would connect this to an old-fashioned analog TV. And I do have the cable somewhere that I've bought recently. But why I love this console, as I call it, or very old computer, is the ZX81 just had that memory. It was something about it. Now, funny enough, until about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I've never seen one of these actually on, because for years, the family, for different reasons, moving around the country and stuff, lost the power lead. So it was always just this awesome, as a kid, I was always fascinated by what it did and stuff like this. And I was able to use that beast there to get a rough idea. But this basically has been floating around the family for years. My granddad had bought it, well, I suppose it must be like 40 years ago, to do a bit of messing around programming. He was telling me the other day, actually, when he used to do a bit of programming on it, design a game or basic programs, save on a tape recorder, and then, play it with the family in the evening after dinner and all this sort of jazz. And it's just something about this. And for many people, after this, with the ZX Spectrum, it became a console where lots of people in the future started off their days in programming, and that became some of the top creators of this sort of 80s and early 90s, and many famous programmers started on something like this, or the Spectrum. Now, there was a ZX80 which is very similar to this. It tended to have a white case, where this one's black. I don't know why, it is. And obviously it's Sinclair, so it was created by Sir Sinclair, I believe that's right. And he made a whole string of classic computers that went on for 10, 15 years or whatever it was, and then he tried to get too adventurous with weird looking cars and that's when it all went wrong for him, where Sinclair was eventually bought by Amstrad. But I'm going to come back to this one. So this has been floating around since I was a kid, and it's always been in my granddad's study or whatever, and I was, oh. Anyway, about a year ago, I decided I wanted to try and make it work. So, as we all do, I fished around on eBay, did a bit of research, got the plug for it, found a very old TV cable, aerial cable, whatever you call it, and I connected this beautiful machine to a TV, and with all my might I couldn't get it to do anything. So I'm pretty convinced, I'm pretty certain, actually it possibly would work on that, but that's a different adventure. But I've got a fairly strong feeling that it needs a really old analog, probably black and white telly. Please put the comments below if you have a working ZX80 or ZX81 or Spectrum, and how, if you got it working, do you use it? It'll just be really interesting to know. And if this is your first time here, I'm Dave, this is Welcome to DOSBite, and we do weekly content on old computers, classic computers, old consoles, old gaming. We just talk about retro computers in general. So if that sounds interesting to you, subscribe and hit like if you're getting value from this video. But yeah, so I continued my adventure trying to work out how to make this work. So I spent many times and hours messing with this thing, and yet I've not seen it working until a little shout out to it, actually. If you live in sort of the UK, go and check out RMC The Cave. Big shout out to them, because they just rock, if I'm honest. And they've got a whole museum of old computers, and I finally got to see one of these working, which I was so happy about. I must admit, I was only on it for 5 minutes because there was about 50 computers I wanted to mess with, but it was just really nice to see it working. As basic as it is, it was just awesome to see one of these finally working, and I'm sure this one does work. Again, put in the comments below your ventures, what programs you've used or programmed, or do you still use it now? Again, just be really interesting to know, and hit like and subscribe if you're getting value. But you know, so why do I like this console? I just love it. It's small, it's just, you know, it's from a time when computers were still really exciting and new, and you know, way back before we talk, you know, in a nice possible way, we all take computers, you know, as I've probably said previously, we all just take it for granted nowadays, don't we, with our phones and whatnot. But this was from a time where you really had to learn about how a computer worked to make it do anything. And my only gripe with it, don't shoot on me, but it just, because there's no like feeling when you press the buttons, it's, I don't know, there's something satisfying about, and actually I believe that was corrected in the ZX Spectrum where it just has sort of proper buttons, and I think that's just, I don't know, just makes it feel more official and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave 2 end cards with more videos from the channel here on DOSBite. Again, if you got value, hit subscribe, hit the like button. And I've also got some links to some floppy disks if you want to go check them out, an affiliate link. And we do have merch as well. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment or ask any questions and stuff like that, or just if you have any stories. Again, I know I've already said that, but just be really fascinating to know. And ultimately, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And in the background, I do have my retro laptop, the retro Sinclair PC200. I love that computer. And I just want to say, DOSBite community, and to the Facebook community we have as well. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.